There's a little Alex Hermosi for you this morning. Sometimes we need the motivation and inspiration. Sometimes we just need to hear a good word to remind ourselves of the things that we know we should be doing. Remember, knowledge is not power. Applied knowledge is power. So are we doing what we know? Some things we know, but are we doing it? That's how we get to the life we don't need a break from. That's how we design our ideal life, ladies and gentlemen. There's always something you can take from it. So when you start hearing certain things that are resonating with you, you got to take that idea out of the air. You got to start applying it in your life. There's probably some things in there that they were talking about that might have resonated a bit with you. I wrote down a couple things. First thing I wrote down was there's no shortcuts. I hope we understand to get to the life that we desire, to get to the life we don't need a break from. There's no shortcuts. There's no elevator. It's just you got to do the work. What is the work? It's this stuff. It's the mental, emotional toughness. It's how do we grow? How do we build the capacity to handle the life that we're asking for? How do we build the capacity? That's where there's no shortcuts, right? You can't just get to the end and now all of a sudden you have all the capacity. You can't say that, like Alex Hormozy said, you can't be a man or a woman that says I do hard things or I've gone through hard things if you haven't gone through the hard things. Like there's no shortcut to that. And the more that we look for a shortcut, the more we take away from the actual process to get into the life that we want. So remember, y'all, there's no shortcuts. Do the hard work. Do the hard work. Rid yourself of your excuses. Rid yourself of your excuses. Right? Alex Ramosi gave that example of the kid. He was like, "Hey, I don't see you in the gym." The kid was like, "Oh, I'm just really busy." Right? Got all the things. Right? We all have those excuses. Right? As to why we're not doing what we should do, as to why we're not moving the business forward, as to why we're not moving our financial life forward, as to why our health has not changed. We all have the reasons why we're not spending it with our family, whatever it is. We got the excuses, but you got to rid yourself of it. Just like he said, he's like, hey, if you can't figure it out now, just resolve that you'll never be healthy. You'll never be in shape. If you can't resolve to do it now, just understand like then you'll just never be in shape. And if you start thinking about it that way, instead of giving yourself the excuse of, oh, when this happens, or I'll get to it when this clears up, or when this part of my life changes, or when that thing changes, or when I have that, right? We resolve to be like, listen, if I'm not going to do it now, I'm probably never going to do it. What if that was your belief? What if that was your thought system, like your belief system, your thought processes was just, if I don't do it now, I'm probably never going to do it. If I don't do it, if I don't make time and room for it now, it's obviously not that important to me. So it probably will never be important to me. We can delude ourselves. We can be like, no, that's not me. I just got to take care of this and I know I'll get to it. Okay. But what if you had to change your thinking in order to change your life? Right? What if you had to switch your perspective on that thing so that you could get a different outcome? That's what I challenge you to do. 20 hours can get you from zero to competent. I love that idea. When's the last time you gave anything, everything, for even a short window of time? 20 hours, if it takes it to become competent in something, you can go from not knowing something to giving something 20 hours. But think about it. If you give it an hour every other day, it's going to take you like a month. And if you get distracted in between the month, if it gonna take you right, probably a little bit longer than a month, right? But if you get distracted every other time in between the month, how much are you really learning? That's not how we get there. What if you gave something 20 hours, 10 hours this day, 10 hours this day? Boom, you pick it up. Is this your mindset, ladies and gentlemen? Success leaves clues. Is this how you operate? Because if we want to go off and get to our ideal life, we got to start operating the way that successful people operate. Everything has a price. Everything has a price. What are you willing to sacrifice? Are you willing to pay the price for what you're asking for the life that you're asking for the financial freedom, the time freedom, the retiring in 5 years, the being wealthy, the having great family life, the being healthy? Are you willing to do the things that you're asking for? Are you willing to pay the price for the life you're asking for? Most people are not willing to pay the price. That everything comes at a cost. So what are you willing to pay for what you're asking for. Last thing I wrote down, or two last things, progress comes with pain is why most people don't like to grow, right? Why we push against the growth because it comes with pain. The breaking down of muscles, when you go to the physical gym, your muscles are breaking down so you can build them back up. It comes with a form of pain. I got back into the gym a couple weeks ago, right? And so first couple days I'm sore. I'm walking around like this in my house, right? My daughter's jumping on my back and my leg is all, tightening up and cramping, right? I'm talking about all the exercise I'm doing. Why? Because I was breaking down these muscles again so I can build them back up stronger. That comes with pain. We know it's right for us, but it comes with pain. Well, that's the same thing in your life, ladies and gentlemen. The thing that you want to progress, you want progress. Progress equals happiness. You want to move your life forward. You want to see things grow. You want to see things flourish in your life. You want life to change a bit. Well, that's going to come with pain. It's going to come with discomfort. It's going to come with you being uncomfortable and sacrificing and paying the price. Like Jim Rohn always says, don't wish it were easier. Wish you were better. Don't wish the process of pruning, don't wish the process of growth was easier. Just wish you were better. Wish you had more patience. Wish you had more strength. Wish you were more mentally tough, emotionally tough. That's what we're working on for you to get to the life that you want. Do hard things. If there's anything you hear me say all the time, y'all, do hard things. If you do hard things now, your life gets easier. If you do easy things now, your life gets harder. That's the way it goes. So you have to push yourself to do the hardest thing, not the most comfortable thing, not the most convenient thing in your finances, in your health, in your relationships, in your spiritual life, right? Like in all the areas, do the hardest thing and watch how your life gets easier. These are practices you got to put into your routine. Again, if we change our thinking, we're changing our life. So we got to think differently about some of these things so we can get different results. But in our text, 177 Mental Toughness Secrets of the World Class, it says champions are congruent. So after it's all said and done, you just got to make sure that what you want, your actions are lining up with what you want. This is what happens when most people are not congruent, when they're not willing to pay the price, where they want all the glory and none of the story, right? That's what we say in in religious spaces, right? We want all the glory and none of the story. We want all of the fame, we want all of the wealth, we want all of the success, we want all of the happiness, we want all of the good things, and we're not willing to pay the price. Our actions are not matching up to what we say we want. This is where we got to start, ladies and gentlemen. If this is you or this is something that you've struggled with in the past, is saying, I have these big goals, but then when it comes down to the actions, they're not congruent. We got to start to get congruent if we want to get to the life that we want. Here's what it says in the text. It says, as you know, one of the defining characteristics of champions is that they know exactly what they want, why they want it, and how to get it. And just read that sentence over again. First sentence of this chapter. As you know, one of the defining characteristics of champions is that they know exactly what they want, why they want it, and how to get it. Their actions are congruent with the size and scope of their vision. One more time. Their actions are congruent with the size and scope of their vision. While average performers wish for the stars, they rarely back up their big dreams with world-class action. Champions know that the road to uncommon success and emotional fulfillment is paved with all-out massive action. This congruency integrates their belief with their behavior. The masses have retained a set of limiting beliefs from childhood and continue to have these beliefs reinforced and validated by others around them. The likelihood of them achieving outstanding results is slim to none unless they are exposed to a higher level of awareness and recognize it. To determine the size of the champion, check for congruency between their vision and their habits, actions, and behaviors. One more time. To determine the size of the champion, check for congruency between their vision and their habits, actions, and behaviors. If they're incongruent, performers have one of two choices: either upgrade the habits, actions, and behaviors, or reduce the size and scope of their vision. This congruency model is what world-class coaches have used for years to keep their performers on track. It is the reason creating a detailed, emotionally charged vision is the first step in the mental toughness process. Ladies and gentlemen, are your actions, habits, and behaviors congruent with what you are asking for out of life? With the life that you are asking for, the life that you're dreaming about, the life that you've written down as your vision, you have to ask yourself, are your habits, actions, and behaviors congruent to get you with that life, to get you to that life? Some examples. If you say you want to be financially free, are your actions, habits, and behaviors when it comes to money congruent with that idea? What does it take to become financially free? Well, you have to be a good steward. You have to make more. You have to save more. You have to get out of debt. You have to learn to invest. Like, is that congruent? You might want it, but are your actions, habits, and behaviors congruent? You might say, "Hey, I want a six pack. Hey, I want to be physically fit. Hey, I want to get these ailments out of my body." Got it. Do your actions, habits, and behaviors when it comes to eating and exercising congruent with that? That this is as simple as it is. We're not deluding ourselves. We're not fooling ourselves. We're not just going to trick ourselves into becoming successful. You have to know what you want, why you want it, how to get it, and then you have to ask yourself, are my habits, actions, and behaviors congruent with getting that thing? I just shared this with somebody that I was coaching yesterday financially, and she was a little embarrassed when she kind of, because we hadn't talked in a couple months, and some of you know in the financial space, right? I have you do some tracking and right, looking at your money and those things. And she was a little embarrassed because right, she hadn't talked to me in a couple months. She was like, "Ah, I spent the money on this trip, and then these birthdays popped up and all the things," and she's just justifying. I'm like, "Oh, it's all good, no shame, no judgment, no guilt. Like it doesn't matter." But if you say you want to, the reason we started working together is because you said you want to retire in 4 years. Okay. So if you want to retire in 4 years, then we have to change our habits, actions, and behaviors. Or, like it says here, let's just let's just resolve that we're not going to retire in 4 years. That's okay too. It doesn't matter. Like it says here, you have two options. You can either upgrade your habits, actions, and behaviors, or you could reduce the size and scope of your vision. Like she wanted to retire in 4 years, but she might like traveling and like spending money on her grandkids. Then you just have to retire in 7 years. It don't matter. You can lower that, or or we got to change our habits, actions, and behaviors. You can't spoil your grandkids. You can't go on vacation. It's one or the other, but you got to be congruent. You got to be congruent with what you're asking for. And that's the key, ladies and gentlemen, to getting to the life that you don't need a break from. You just got to be congruent. Be very honest with yourself. What do you want? How big is that thing? And then who do you have to become in order to go get it? But here's the other side. If you don't want anything, if you lower the bar of excellence, if you say I don't have a big vision, big scope of things, you can lower it and then you don't have to change your actions, habits, and behaviors. But regardless, you got to be congruent. Now, I know what we're here to do. Again, I don't know everyone that watches this, but for us here, sitting here having this conversation, we're going to upgrade our habits, actions, and behaviors to get to our vision because we know if we change our thinking, we'll change our life. If we change how we think about the thing, if we get new information on it, if we apply new information, we'll naturally change our actions, habits, and behaviors. So we can go get the life that we want instead of saying, I don't know if I can get that life. I'm going to lower it and I'm just not going to change as much. That's not us. That's not you. That's not why you're here. That's not why you are focused on your personal growth and personal development. It's because there's a life that you want that's up ahead, that you see in your mind's eye, that you've written down, that you've taken time, that God has placed in there. There's things up there that you want, that you can see for your life. And now we have to build the capacity to go get it. We have to build the capacity, meaning we have to go through the adversities, meaning we have to get more uncomfortable, meaning we have to actually change our habits, actions, and behaviors so we become a different person to go get that thing, to go acquire the life that we want, to go continue to build to get to our ideal life, or as Oprah says, the highest, grandest expression of ourselves. This is your reminder. This is your reminder this Wednesday as we end the month, as you head into a brand new month. It's not a matter of, am I dreaming too big? You can never dream too big. You should dream big. But are your habits, actions, and behaviors congruent with that dream? And that's what we got to catch up to. That's what we got to get congruent, and that's how we get to the life that we deserve. This quote in here says congruency between your vision and your action will determine whether you are a visionary or a daydreamer. The congruency between your vision and your action will determine, are you really a visionary? Are you making things happen? Or are you just daydreaming? It would just be nice. You're just hoping. You're just crossing your fingers and you're just kind of tossing it up, but you're not changing. You're not changing your actions and behaviors. You're not being intentional about it. This is what separates the average from the champions. The action step for today says give yourself a reality check to see if your habits, actions, and behaviors are congruent with the size and scope of your vision. If they are congruent, move forward, knowing that you have a legitimate shot at making your vision a reality. If they are not congruent, make the choice today. Upgrade your habits, actions, behaviors, or reduce the size and scope of your vision. The choice is yours. I always want you to upgrade. I always want you to choose to upgrade your actions, habits, and behaviors so you can go get to that life that you don't need a break from. That's how we do it. No one ever said this was going to be easy, y'all. It's just going to be worth it. It's going to be worth it. I love you guys. I want you to win. You deserve it. Your families deserve it. If nobody tells you, I'll always remind you, you deserve to win. People are counting on you to win. They're counting on you to get this information. They're counting on you to change, grow, apply this information so you have more capacity. Right now, you don't have the capacity to handle the life you're asking for. You don't have the capacity to be a multimillionaire. You don't have the capacity to have a healthy, successful family legacy. That we don't have the capacity. So let's just build the capacity, and then we can get to that life. But people are counting on you to get this information, apply it, do something with it. Go out today, push yourself out of your comfort zone. Do something that scares you today. Do something that challenges you. Change how you're thinking about something. Change your environment today, right? I started with this on my Rich Dad calendar. It said environment is everything. If environment is everything, go change your environment today. Go get into a brand new environment consistently and see how your life starts to shift, y'all. Go out, do something today that again pushes you out of your comfort zone. We'll be back here on Friday. Love you guys. Have a good day.